Welcome to the Creative AI Show. What do we have this week, Bryon?
Hey, Rosh, happy to be here. Happy that you're back with me, back in the land of the living. Thank you so much
Almost.
for rejoining me. You doing all right?
Yeah, we're surviving. It was a
Okay.
tough couple weeks there. So
Yeah, well, you sound and look great as usual. So, all right. Today, I want to talk about how Kling put up a video a couple days ago. Kling 2.1 now
yeah,
supports start and end frame. And truthfully, I got some of the best outputs to date that I've
I thought they
gotten.
already had that. Don't other platforms have that already? Is that?
They had start and end frame, but it was only in the 1.6.
Oh, okay. Got
So
it.
2.1 supposedly in their terms is 235% better.
Okay.
What was really cool, and I'll go into this when I talk about it more, but in the release notes, they did a lot of examples of the same prompt, 1.6 versus
Okay.
2.1, and it truly is better. So yeah, I was happy about that. Again, I had some of my best outputs to date. During my solo episode last week, I talked about a deep dive into this music video that's going to be kind of my fall big AI
Yeah.
creative project. So this week, I'm really slow burning this one, Rosh. So I'm talking about storyboarding
Okay.
and really planning and all the AI tools that I'm using even in these early stages. So I'm
Yeah, I think
excited
that's
for
something
that.
people would be interested in, those actual
Cool.
tools you're using in the process.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So the storyboard process is well underway. I'm chipping away at this a little bit each night as, the family's down to rest and I've got some creative time. So it's been fun. It's been really rewarding. So I'm talking about that. And then lastly, if we do have time, ChatGPT 5 dropped the ball for me immensely when I thought I was going to get some good fantasy football help. So I want to talk about that fail of ChatGPT 5. But tossing it back your way, what do you have going on this
Well,
week?
then lucky you, we're going to talk about ChatGPT 6.
What? We're ready to already toss
Maybe
this one out the
ChatGPT
window?
6
What's
will be
going
much
on?
better.
Okay.
And we're also going to talk about Nano Banana, which
Nano
is
banana.
something
Not two words I've heard in succession before. What's
not
that?
many people have until now, but it's the in thing now.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone stay to the edge of your seat if you want some nano banana information a little bit later here. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. Where are we are two creative guys talking AI. Let's hop into this and let's talk about Kling. So Kling is just, one of, I would say it always in all of our competitions ends up cream of the crop, if
Yeah,
not right up there, top one, two, or three.
right.
It is powered by DeepSeek, but it's just become kind of, I think I've said Kling is king multiple times on this show because it's just that good at prompt to video or one of the areas that these video programs struggle a lot with, even Google Veo, are when you start with an image and they like to call it frames, and then you add a prompt to give yourself the rest of the video.
Right.
And I feel like if you just give a prompt and go straight from that prompt and let the engine create the scenery and everything, that it does better than if you give it an uploaded image and then tell it what to do. Now, not in the instance of start and end frame.
Okay.
So where this is different, Rosh, is that you give it your start frame, but then you upload a second image of where you want it to end up.
Right.
So, we've seen this technology
Yeah.
before. Vidyu's got it, Kling, a couple of these other ones, but this is one of the first times where I was truly impressed by how good it animated these images that we're uploading.
Yeah, it sounds like they're slowly moving over something we just talked about recently over to
Mm.
2.1
Yeah,
for their 1.6 stuff. Because 1.6, and people have commented, 1.6 is solid and has
great.
been for so long that it's been
Yeah,
hard to move on to the other ones. But
yeah,
at least they haven't updated it because they knew that 1.6 could hold its own. And now I have a
right.
feeling 2.0 didn't hold the level of quality that they wanted, but 2.1 is.
Yes.
And so it's going to be probably the new 1.6 moving forward. So they're going to get to 2.5 and everything, fun will be on 2.1,
Right, exactly. That's the way it works. It's you always want to be one step behind, I guess,
Yeah,
of
right.
whatever the newest release is. But 2.1, Rosh, I will tell you, it blew me away. First of all, I did one of those viral age morph type ones, and I put
Mhm.
up a video a few months ago. It's actually doing well on our channel about how to create those.
Yeah.
And I was using Pika scenes in that situation. And we
Yeah, right.
know that Kling is better than Pika. I will comfortably say that across the board.
Right.
All of its outputs are consistently better. So this age morph one, I did one of Christian Bale, of where I took, Newsies kind of age of when he was like 16, 18 years old, if anybody remembers that old Disney movie
Yeah, yeah.
with, young face Christian Bale. And then it morphed into, bearded modern day, mid 50s Christian Bale.
Okay.
And, between, the model photo of him when he was like 16 and his hair all done nicely. They actually made his hair like flow in the wind perfectly.
Hmm.
And, in this little short 5-second age morph, you can tell, the cheeks, the eyes, the face, they didn't change a bit besides maybe just aging a little bit because he's gotten older.
Yeah, right.
But it was so accurate. It was the best age morph one that I've seen to date. And actually, to answer some comments that I've gotten on that previous age morph one, somebody's like, hey, how do you take somebody and that's had multiple iterations throughout their career and create a longer age morph one? And the start and end frame is the answer to this.
Okay.
Because say you get a star and you get a picture of them in their teens, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and you get like 8 different images of them throughout their whole career. All you have to do is make 8 different videos where the end frame of your first video then becomes the start frame of your next video.
Got it. Yeah, right.
And then you just edit them all together, and then boom, all of a sudden you've got somebody aging, and it could be a minute long one, or you could speed it up a little bit if you want to, but it could be a longer form, 45 to 60-second video where you show somebody progressing throughout their career. Right. So a little bit of a trick on that one to be able to do that. But otherwise, the storytelling was great. A little hack that I have for our audience. We know that we talk about creating the images through a tool like Rev. Which is just, one of our favorite image creation tools. What's great about Rev is you can click on any of the images that you've produced. And I know a lot of the other ones like Midjourney do this as well. Yeah. But you can click on that image that you like, and then you have an option to prompt that image and generate a couple more that are similar, where it has a consistent character or a consistent scene. And so I did this like mythical, like winged deer in some, mystical forest and stuff. And I wanted that deer to be flying up into the forest. So I wanted the scene to be this thing kind of taking off. So I was able to do that perfectly using Rev and then combining it with Kling 2.1 start and end frame. So very, very happy with this. A great way to tell stories. I'll talk about it a little more in a bit when I talk about the storyboard for my music video, because I'm going to use this tool a lot, to its probably maximum firepower when it's time to really lay it out here for the storyboard. So pretty interesting. Have you gotten to mess with this at all yet in 2.1?
I have not. I was excited when we got the notice, but I have not played with it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely suggest it. Maybe even a comparison we could do of 1.6 versus 2.1. And again, we've seen the comments. People love 1.6. And what's really cool about these updates, and Kling is good about this, I know Leonardo's great about this, is when an update comes out that they will typically release the release notes with it.
Sure.
And what was great about Kling is they had a page of like 10 examples of the exact same prompt in 1.6 versus 2.1. And you could see the evolution of this technology and just how much better. And obviously, when they're publishing these on their website, it's going to be the sunny side of the most, drastic differences between these outputs. But again, they're very impressive. So it's very good.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. All right. We'll throw it back your way.
So ChatGPT 6, yeah, that's all the talk now. Now that we spent, a year and a half, 2 years talking about 5. Sam Altman and friends have said, look, this one's coming a little sooner. And they've certainly learned a lot of lessons from 5. I did notice today that I had access to all of my old friends.
Yes.
3,
legacy
4,
models are
everything
back.
Everything was there. 4, 5, which we hated anyway. And but it's all back. And they've been slowly making it a little bit more friendlier. And I think I was actually kind of concerned about what they're saying. Because Altman was talking about how, one, we want more memory. Yes, but it's more of a customized memory. To customize, this is looking at ChatGPT 6, a customized memory to you and to learn who you are. And so there's even stating if you want a more conservative, ChatGPT, it'll be, and if you want a more woke one, it can be. And it's like, wait, no,
Hmm.
no, no,
Let's
no,
just
no,
keep it
no.
neutral, right?
Just get well, and that's the mandate, I guess, the U.S. mandate in theory is to be neutral, and they're going to start. In other words, everybody will start off with neutral. But all I can see is the echo chamber, just
Yeah.
like social media.
Yep.
That, if if you are if the AI notices that you're just going down rabbit holes of understanding and that are not necessarily true, and it doesn't matter your political point of view, it could be about anything,
Hmm.
whether it's health or politics or environment, whatever it may be, the business, uh, education, you name it. And if you're just it notices that, okay, well, they tend to lean to these kinds of ideas. So we'll go along with it and, support that information, even though it's not really correct. And,
Right.
that's what's happened with social. People
Right.
believe a lot of stuff that just is not true, but yet their feed is full of support information that,
Right.
kind of proves. So it kind of scares me. It does scare me. Now, some of it also is actually they were talking about the very further future. This is not six, but just being able to connect with your brain and ChatGPT just to
Neuralink.
kind of
Oh
a
man.
Neuralink kind of idea
Yeah.
from Altman, no, excuse me, Musk, and that was kind of the direction we're talking. So he's just your personal interactive,
Yeah.
connection. But ultimately, it's going to be much more memory, more adaptable, and probably a little smarter. I think they oversold the smart thing, especially
Yeah.
with five. And so I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to do that. I think they saw what people really wanted. And so the personality element is really where they're going to focus. I mean, five is much better in many areas, especially in the coding area. I use it all the time, very
Okay.
happy
Good.
with it. But, what a lot of other people are using 4.0 for, yeah, I'm sure five was not the best option.
Well, one of my favorite uses for the past couple years, and especially in a politically charged environment that we are in, has been to use ChatGPT to kind of debunk things
Yeah.
that I can tell are opinions that are drastically on the right or left side.
Right.
And, somebody sends me an article. Sometimes I will, put that article into ChatGPT and be like, hey, let's cut through, give me the most factual based, non biased information possible.
Right.
So, yeah, I certainly hope it remains that because I think the American public, or just, I guess, society in general, is demanding kind of a more transparent information source than what
Yes.
we're currently getting.
Yeah.
And AI was a kind of a hope, a glimmer of hope for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
it maintains its
Yeah, it really
neutrality.
needs to be a source of knowledge and truth.
Yeah.
And, you can certainly develop a friendship and a connection. But, we do want memory. They did launch and improve the memory for projects, which is really good. That was another upgrade in the last week, which means you can, especially if you're at work and
Hmm.
you want information within that project that you don't want to come outside of that project, meaning you don't want it to intermix with life and your business because maybe there's proprietary stuff
Easy
that
for you to say.
yeah, easy to say. With your work. So sometimes the memories across those two areas. So you could just have a work project area within your chat GPT, and that knowledge and information will not go outside those boundaries when having other conversations.
Well, that's great. Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful. I mean, I will say I've had, in my few weeks now of using ChatGPT 5, I've had some hits and some misses for
Yes,
sure.
I'm looking forward to
Like
the miss there.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'll mention that really quickly before I go into my storyboard. But yeah, I had my fantasy football draft last night, and I just at first started really broad and said, "Hey, can you be a helper with me in this? I want to, try to draft running backs. I like rookies, and different things like this." And it was like, "All right, yeah, you're the 10th pick. Try to pick this person and that person." And I'm like, "Hey, those people are going to get picked like 1 and 2. There's no chance in the world I'm going to have them by pick 10.
Right.
And then, by the time the snake draft comes back around, I'm pick, 30 and 31. So, what I eventually had to do, Rosh, was give it a couple articles that I trusted, that were from just insight and, typical draft order.
Yeah.
And I had to really, really coach it to give me any sort of usable answer. And then when I tried to use it in real time, where I tried to take a screenshot, like a moment before my pick, where it shows the people that are available, hey, pick, suggest to me my next best pick. And every single time it was so far off and frustrating. So don't use ChatGPT 5 for fantasy football. That's just my quick side note here. But 4.0 last year did much better, even though,
Oh,
I didn't rely on it so much, but yeah. But anyway, all right. But an area where ChatGPT 5 has done really well for me, and, my second topic here for today, and, I did the solo podcast last week where I, what gets said out loud in my world sometimes gets done. Otherwise, maybe I'll just kick it down. So
right.
I'm promising our audience a full-blown, really, really deep dive, all-out music video for my, what I think is kind of the biggest, most important song from my band's album. So I've been kind of waiting for like it to be our third or fourth single from the album and really, really push it. But I want to really talk to our audience about step by step how I'm doing this and how I'm going about it. And step number one was just storyboarding. And instead of, getting a big piece of paper and writing things out, I've been using ChatGPT 5 Canvas.
Okay.
And like you just said, it's really, really good for projects and keeping information about one project in one spot. And that's what's been great about it is I can go back to that tab, reopen it anytime I'm working on it. And I've got that full canvas there to where I'm starting to get all my ideas laid out. I have a separate section in the canvas where I'm listing all of the AI tools that I currently use. So Vidue, Minimax O2, all of Kling, all of these different ones, and then I'm going to list the strengths of each one of these.
Okay.
And that way, if there's a certain scene, say, where I want to move the camera in a certain way, but not really direct the figure in the scene, maybe I'll go over to Runway for that one. Or, if I'm trying to have 4 scenes in a row that are continuous, maybe I'll go over to Google Flow Workstation and build them there. So, but my goal in this music video is to try to use as many different tools as possible and get them all together. So step one here is really storyboard, list it, and then once I have all my scenes set out that I want to create, decide which engine I want to try to use for each one of these scenes in order to get the best impact from it. And then also, so it's going to save all my scenes. Also, it's helping me with some kind of outside the box inspiration. And I'm combining LLMs right now. So I'm actually hopping over to Claude, uploading, say, the lyrics to the song and saying, hey, I have the idea for these 5 scenes. Give me a suggestion for 15 other scenes that could build on mine, but factor in the lyrics. By the way, here's the lyrics to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And using these, creative tools that way. So then I can copy the ideas from Claude, put them over into my storyboard that I'm creating on Canvas on ChatGPT 5. So, it's just, this whole project's going to be a balancing of using, 5 to 10 different AI tools across the board. And it's going to be really fun. So I'm excited for it. And, hopefully our audience likes to watch the progress of it. And, hopefully by this fall, I'll have something we can share on the channel of, creative output that I'm super proud of. And hopefully it does something pretty fun.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. All right.
And maybe you'll use Nano Banana as part of your project.
Please tell me. I need to know because it's named amazing already.
All right. And Nano Banana is actually a Google product that has been out there in the test areas. And they're looking at the new Google mobile device. What is it? What would that be? Number 10. Anyway. Yeah, I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's going to be there, and I'll tell you what it is. Don't worry. And they're also looking at putting into Flow. What is it? Well, it's photo editing. It's a photo editing tool, kind of like when we go to Runway and they have the chat prompt. Same kind of a thing, except it's really, really, really good. It's the next level of photo editing, which has gotten everybody excited. Those who were able to jump on, get in there, play with it. I mean, literally say, hey, do this, do that within the image. And it was just perfect. Just
amazing.
Perfect. And so, moving forward, if it's in Flow, you can, nothing wrong with Imagen 4, but if it's that much better, you have your ability to create a really nice image, then edit it to exactly what you want.
Right.
And then that can be your first frame. and then you can create your video. So it's going to be a full workflow area,
Yeah.
including editing. And I'm sure this is going to expand into video too. I
Right.
mean, where you just say exactly that within Flow. I mean, you can at some level, but I don't know if the level of consistency has been there with Google Flow yet, or any of the Gemini video VO3 yet. But um, I think some others have been better with character consistency. At least
Okay.
that's been my experience.
Well, and especially coming from a renowned photographer like yourself, the opinion and feedback of just, I trust your opinion as to what's a very high quality photo editing tool,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
know how to use all the high end tools and to be able to get what you want out of a photo, and if you could do it at that high level that much quicker and easier, that's a great thing.
yeah. It'll be good for everyone. I mean, granted, I have not had my paws on it yet, but I did watch a lot of examples and
Okay.
saw the results, and pretty impressive.
Now, is this, say, it's Runway, I believe, that has the Aleph, which is a weird word to pronounce, the
Yeah,
the video editing.
Aleph, yeah,
Aleph, yeah, I always have to look up how to pronounce these things, but I thought that was great for being able to video edit,
yeah,
add rain to a scene or
right.
change the camera angle or different things like
Yeah.
that. So it sounds like it's something kind of along
It's
those
like
lines.
that just for the still photo world
Yeah,
and of higher quality. But yeah, that's a great example though of what is
cool.
coming. I mean, all these different platforms. Again, Kling with a higher level, first and last frame,
Hmm.
Olive on Runway. I mean, everything is just, they're all going to have it at some point. Just
Right.
different platforms are focusing on different pieces of the puzzle. But eventually everybody's going to have 90% of the pieces of the puzzle. And then it's just going to be the little things as to why you want to use Veo over Kling.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, we're just watching this kind of slug match happen back and forth here as they're updating. But even, the effects and stuff like that, where have the squish effect or different ones, and you'll see them on one tool, and then all of a sudden you'll go sign in on another one and be like, oh, by the way, we do this now too.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it's very fun, and I've got the different options, and we've got what 5 or 10 different video editing programs now that we kind of go back and forth, and I'm sure
Absolutely.
there's new ones popping up every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there
Yeah.
are tons and tons of them. If you go on to the Fluxes and the Hugging Faces of the
Hmm.
world, you will find so many variations of the ones we know as well as ones we've never even heard of. And many of them are not that good, to be quite
Yeah.
honest. But some
Yeah.
some of them kind of pop up, for example, Nano Banana was just
Yeah.
kind of Google throwing their version in there. You don't know who it is. It's just another editing image, and all of a sudden, wow, this is really good. And everybody's like, this is really good. This is Google, so that's how it all
They
works out.
snuck it. Yeah. All right. Well, very good. Well, I appreciate the update on that. That is not something I'd heard of before today, so I will look into that. And yeah, do you have anything else you want to go over today?
I don't think so. I think we got it all covered. So,
I
hey,
think we got
as
it.
of today and tomorrow, we are two creative guys talking AI.
We'll talk to y'all next week.